Welcome to GreenHub Estate Phase 2 in Kitengela. GreenHub Estate is an agribusiness investment initiative by Denko Properties within a gated community that seeks to provide an investment solution that guarantees immediate income and return on investment from your property without you lifting a finger. GreenHub Phase 1, located in Juja, was sold out nearly 2 years ago, and clients have reaped returns from their investments repeatedly. We provide crop husbandry and farm management services to our clients through our partners Green Grow International, including ready market guarantee for your produce. All you have to do is buy the property, sit back, relax, and let your money work for you. As we would like you to know more about agribusiness investment, let us take a look at the progress thus far as we break down the underlying processes involved in greenhouse farming and agribusiness at large. After the client has paid the required amount for the agribusiness package, that is, the required amount for the purchase of the plot and the greenhouse construction and management cost, the process of greenhouse construction begins. Sourcing for the required materials such as aluminium pipes, cladding, and irrigation equipment starts. The aluminium pipes are thereafter fabricated for the agreed greenhouse. Thereafter, the metallic structure is erected and plastic cladding is fitted together with the side nets and roll-ups. Workers till and prepare the soil to ready it for transplanting. Finally, the irrigation equipment, which includes a tank and a drip water system, are set in the greenhouse and tested. With a positive result from the irrigation system, the greenhouse is ready to be planted in. Meanwhile, as the greenhouse is being constructed, pre-planting is taking place. Juma will take us through the farming process from pre-planting to harvest.
I'm Juma Jared. Welcome to GreenHub Estate Kitengela, which is a project by Denko Properties and managed by Green Grow International. I'll be taking you through the entire process of production for the different crops which are done in this estate, from the nursery stage, the transplanting, the cultural and the management aspects of the different crops, harvesting, and usually the dispatch to the market and the processes which entirely fall in between those processes. Preparation of the nursery starts when the remaining period of time will allow you to raise the nursery, then you transplant, targeting a specific period of time when you market your produce. Once you have determined the time when you are going to put your nursery, the next thing to decide is the type of nursery which you are going to put up. There are two different types of nurseries. One of them is whereby you do a nursery on just the ground, you raise a raised bed, then you sow your seed on the ground. The other type of nursery is where you use special trays. This kind of nurseries are usually precision nurseries, whereby each single seed is usually placed in a specific hole where it germinates. The trays are easy to use because, number one, they are easy when it comes to transplanting because you don't waste a lot of seed when removing them from the media because it's very easy. You prepare the trays by putting in the media which is required. Then you place each seed on a given hole, a single seed for every hole. Then you cover it with a loose soil on top or the loose media depending on what you're using in the trays. Then you wait for 7 days for tomatoes to germinate, and in the case of capsicum they usually take around 14 days before they germinate. In the process, as you wait for germination, watering is usually done each and every single day. And watering is usually done using a knapsack sprayer, because if you use a watering can, you are going to uproot the seeds. After the seeds have emerged, the first thing you do is to check the percentage germination. And for our case, the tomatoes, you expect around 99% germination, and for the capsicum, when you have around 95% germination, you're good to go. Then, after germination, continuously you should be doing scouting for pests and diseases. The other thing which you need to be very careful about is watering. The watering is done 3 times a day, at 6 in the morning, at around noon. Then another watering should be done in the evening around 6 p.m. in the evening. After all that is done, the next thing to do is you need to boost the new plants. Once they germinate, they are under a lot of stress. So what you need to do is to give them something which is going to reduce the stress, and we usually do a foliar to ensure that the stress which they had when they were trying to emerge is usually reduced, and this one makes the seedlings stronger and healthier. For tomatoes, it takes them 21 days to 25 days before they are ready for transplanting, and for capsicum it takes them around 6 weeks, which translates to around 45 days before they are ready for transplanting. This is a seedling, a tomato seedling, and it is 10 days old, and it will be ready for transplanting in the next 15 days or so. This tomato seedling is 20 days old, and in the next 3 days it will be transplanted. And when transplanting is done, this is how it is pulled and placed on the ground. When the seedlings are ready for transplanting, in the case of tomatoes, between 21 days to 25 days, then the trays are usually carried to the greenhouse where they are going to be transplanted. And in the case of the capsicum, after a period of 6 to 7 weeks, they are ready for transplanting, and they are taken to the greenhouses where they are transplanted. During transplanting, the first thing which you do is you prepare a hole where there is a dripper. Then once you have prepared the hole, you put some fertilizer inside, then you mix it with the soil. Once you have mixed it with the soil, you take your seedlings, you just push from below, then the seedling comes up with the media itself like this. Then with this one, you just place in it in the hole which you have prepared and slightly cover with the soil. And you should make sure that the stem is not covered with the new soil. You let the media to be on the top, in that the soil on the top is not going to affect the plant after transplanting. If you cover it with a lot of soil to the stem, what is going to happen is the soil is going to cause rotting on the stem, and at the end of the day you are going to lose the plant. Our greenhouse which has been transplanted looks like this one. Already the plants have been put inside, and currently the process which is going on is irrigating the plants to make sure that the takeoff is good. After this, the cultural processes take in, which include weeding, defoliation, and ensuring that the plants are supported to ensure that the maximum yields are achieved. After transplanting, the next process is usually managing the crops. And the first process is ensuring that the feeding is proper. 3 weeks after transplanting, the tomatoes are usually given fertilizers to boost the foliage formation. And the foliage formation is usually boosted by fertilizers which are rich in nitrogen, and immediately the fertilizer is added, the tomatoes are supported. And the support is usually done by using threads which are tied on top of the plant, and the tomatoes are trellised like these ones. Then this is to train the tomatoes in that always they're facing on the upward direction. After that process is done, the other processes which come in is ensuring that the tomatoes are free from a lot of foliage, and usually what is done is the suckers, excessive suckers are usually removed from the plant, because the suckers will bring a lot of competition to the main stem, which finally will reduce the fruit sizes. The suckers are removed, and at the same process as the suckers are being removed, the excessive foliage on the lower side of the plant are usually removed when the fruit set starts to form. When the plant reaches where the support is tied, usually the support, which is a thread, is pulled back and the plant is taken down. For instance, this one, when it reaches this point, you untie, then you lower it a little bit and you put it on the ground, in that it can go down and leave another space for it to grow upwards. Then again, the support is tied to where it was to let the plant to continue its growth process. The other processes which are done is ensuring that all the plant is pest-free and disease-free. That's done by a continuous and a routine spraying to prevent the diseases, and spraying is only done after proper scouting is done to check on the populations and the intensity of the diseases. After 75 days after transplanting, the tomatoes are ready for harvesting, and harvesting usually is done when the tomatoes reach a given maturity level. The maturity depends purely on the fruit color and the formation of the color on the fruits. There are different maturity levels which the crop has to reach before they are harvested. First of all, you can harvest at the green stage, or you can harvest at the blue band color, or you can harvest when the fruits have already ripened. The harvesting period usually depends on the market you are going to supply to. The green are usually preferred because they take a bit longer in the shelf, because they can take up to 21 days before they go bad. And this one gives the sellers time to continuously sell. The other one is the blue band color. When the fruits are at the blue band color stage, they give the seller around 15 to 18 days for them to sell in the market. The red color is usually preferred by the direct consumers who don't want to store the fruits for a longer period of time, and they can directly or after a few days consume the fruits. Also, once they have been harvested, there are several processes which takes place before they are taken to the market, and one of them is ensuring that the grade is right for the different markets, because the tomatoes are graded into 3 major grades: that the first, the second, and the third. And usually it depends on the size. And the fruits, all of them should be free from deformities, any kind of deformities. The class 1 or the grade 1 is usually the biggest fruits, which are purely round or oval depending on the variety. Grade 2 is usually on a little bit smaller size, and grade 3 are the smallest fruits which you usually produce. Depending on the market you are going to supply, you choose the best fruits or the right maturity stage, and usually the fruits are plucked from the punnet itself one by one, and usually you make sure that you remove the tip, in that they cannot be affecting the other fruits. So all the fruits are picked and they are stored either in a crate or in a container before they are removed from the greenhouse. All of them, once they have been harvested, they are then arranged properly and later ready for distribution.
Why should you invest in GreenHub Estate Phase 2? Significant capital gain is assured in the short term due to the upcoming Kitengela-Rongai bypass. Additional income from greenhouse farming without lifting a finger.
It is a gated community located along Rongai Kitengela bypass from the EPZ. It has 150 plots. We have electricity on site, water on site. We have a borehole here. We also have concrete poles and barbed wire fence.
This particular project was actually designed for that smart investor who does not want to hold onto their land for future investment.
We enable clients to install their own greenhouses, and we're managed by another company called GreenHub International. GreenHub International guarantees that they will give a client a certain amount of money within a certain period of time. Depending on the size of the greenhouses. We have different sizes of greenhouse from 8 by 15 to 10 by 30. Within the 150 plots, each plot is 50 by 100, which is an eighth of an acre. It goes for 995,000, but we have discounts for people who pay in cash or who buy more than 2 plots. We also have payment plans for people who want to pay within more than 1 month. So we give them like 6 months interest-free and 6 extra months with interest, which is on reducing balance.
The cost of installing a greenhouse is 295,000 Kenya shillings, and the size of the greenhouse is the 8 by 15, which is the smallest greenhouse that we have. We also have a large greenhouse of the 10 by 30, which is the cost of installing it is 625,000 Kenya shillings, and the returns that you'll be getting from the greenhouse is 500,000 Kenya shillings every 6 months, and in a year you'll be getting 1,000,000 shillings. And for the previous greenhouse that I said, the standard one, the 8 by 15, the returns that you'll be getting is 200,000 Kenya shillings every 6 months. So in a year, you'll be able to get 400,000 Kenya shillings.
The project is 80% sold out. If you are interested, please send an SMS to 20663.